So the short version, for me personally, it wasn't that bad. Good morning, guys. So real quick, it is 7:25 in the morning. I am about to head out to work, but I just wanted to give you a quick update on the next 24 hours because tomorrow is my HSG test. I just called the registration line to pre-register. I had to pre-register for labs tomorrow morning for the pregnancy test and then for my actual procedure, which is at the radiology department at the hospital near me. And I also picked up my prescription 2 days ago. I take an antibiotic before the procedure and after, so I don't, to help prevent infection, I think. So it is 100 milligrams of doxycycline mono, and take 1 capsule by mouth the morning of procedure and then 1 cap by mouth 12 hours after the procedure. So 2 pills, and that's about it. So I will check in tomorrow. Tomorrow's a busy day. I'm taking the day off of work and I have to go do labs at like 6 in the morning, so my labs get in by the time of the procedure. Then I have a 9 a.m. doctor's appointment with my new primary care doctor to talk to her about my thyroid level and see if she has any helpful information on that. And then I have the procedure at noon. So I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Good morning. I am filming from my car again because that's what I do, and I am on my way to my doctor's appointment. Today is Wednesday before Thanksgiving and I'm doing my HSG test today at noon. I did labs this morning, a pregnancy test to confirm that I'm not pregnant, and I made an appointment with my primary care doctor at 9 o'clock today to go over my irregular thyroid hormone level. So we'll see what she says. It's always good to get more information, and yeah, I'll update you later today. By the way, the weather today could not be crappier. It's the worst type of weather. I live somewhere where it gets really cold and it is November, and today it is mid-40s and raining. At this point, I'd rather it be 5 degrees cooler and snowing because cold, wet rain is the most uncomfortable type of weather. But you know what? Things could be worse. I also live somewhere where I have a car and I have a garage, so luckily I don't have to be too much outside in the weather, but hopefully maybe later today it will stop raining. So I have about 45 minutes until I leave to go to the hospital. Hospital is maybe like 15-20 minutes from here. It's 10:15 now. My HSG is at noon, but I want to leave here at 11 just so I can be really early, and I don't know where I'm going, and you know, if I have to fill out paperwork and parking and all that. It is 12:45 right now, and I am leaving the hospital from the HSG test. It wasn't terrible. It was quite painful for a very short amount of time. So I wouldn't say it was, you know, pain-free by any means, but the pinching kind of pain I felt when I think she was, you know, the doctor was putting probably the tube that the dye goes through into my cervix, and then subsequently when she shot the dye, was kind of like took your breath away. It was so painful, but it also was very short-lived. And I was originally told that I would not get results for 1 week. And then when I was in there to do the test, the doctor or the nurse told me I would get results on the spot, which I was obviously super excited about. So the results are in and everything looks good. So that's a relief. Obviously, my tubes were clear. If they're not clear, the dye, I guess, doesn't go all the way through. If there's a blockage, and they could see the dye was going all the way through, spilling out to my ovaries, I guess. So that's great news. It's so nice to get some answers. The doctor did tell me that, you know, this is a good month to try to get pregnant because now everything's kind of been flushed out. And I also read that on a couple different forums, but at the same time, like, if I'm not ovulating, then I don't quite understand how that helps. And then the nurse who was in there with me, she was super young, but she said that her mom had difficulty getting pregnant, had problems with her thyroid, and had this HSG test and got pregnant the next month. So who knows how that all works. So I'm back home now. I'm feeling a tiny bit crampy, but really no real pain. I took a couple Advil and, you know, that probably helped. So when I got to the hospital, I went to the radiology department, and basically the test I found out is kind of like an x-ray, but it's a live x-ray, they said. It's like a video that takes a bunch of pictures. So I went to the radiology department, and the nurse called me back, and I had to put on like a hospital scrub and undress from the waist down, kind of like a PAP. And there's a table that you lay on, and a lot of it was very similar to a PAP. And other than the part where they, like, you know, put a tube in and put some dye through it and do the scan, it was pretty much like a PAP. So that's kind of what you can expect, at least how it was for me at my hospital. The nurse kind of got me started with changing, you know, making sure all my pregnancy test came back negative, all that. Then they called the doctor in. She got me all set up, and then very last they called the radiologist or whatever the doctor was who was going to read the scan in, once they had me all set up, and he just came in, and he was in the room for maybe a minute and a half when they put the dye in and looked at the scan. And the whole procedure took maybe 10 minutes. I was at the hospital for close to 45 to an hour just because of the setup and then changing back into my clothes and everything. So that was my experience. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you an inside look into what an HSG test is all about and kind of my experience with it. If you have other questions about the test that I didn't talk about, please feel free to leave it down below in the comments, and I will be happy to respond to anybody who has other questions. I also had a doctor's appointment this morning that I had mentioned with my family doctor to talk about my thyroid labs, and I think I'm going to put that in a separate video because otherwise this one's going to get way too long, so stay tuned for that as well. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video.